What's up, guys? It's Benny. It looks like war is back on the menu, boys. Not only the war in the Middle East, where Israel and Iran are blowing themselves to smithereens, but also the war of the MAGA America First Titans, President Trump versus Tucker Carlson. The two are now sadly at war, fresh off the heels of the battle royale between Elon Musk and Donald Trump, where it descended into Epstein list impeachment madness. Tucker Carlson turns on Trump. Ex-Fox News host blasts complicit president for backing Israel after attacks on Iran. Now, our enemies want us divided. I don't like this fight. I'm not going to try and foment this fight, and I've done my very level-headed best to try, I guess, and explain both sides. Here's Tucker Carlson on Steve Bannon's show. It was an hour-long interview today. I think this is the most important minute of it.
I think he's a deeply humane, kind person. And I am saying this because I'm really afraid that my country's going to be further weakened by this. I think we're going to see the end of American empire, obviously. Other nations would like to see that, and this is a perfect way to scuttle the USS America on the shoals of Iran. But it's also going to end, I believe, Trump's presidency and effectively end it. And so that's why I'm saying this.
What do you mean by that? That's coming from you. That's
you get. Look, I knew Bush. I knew George W. Bush. We had, family connections to Bush. I knew Bush personally. I still see Bush sometimes. And, of course, he hates me, and he does because I criticized him on Iraq. And that war is the sum total, from a historical perspective, of his administration. But I knew him, and he had all kinds of plans for the things that he wanted to do. But once domestically,
right,
to improve the country.
Right.
And you may agree or disagree, but in his mind, he wasn't just about the invasion of Iraq in March of 2000.
Oh, no. He was going to redo Social Security.
100%,
He had all types of. He was going to take care of the entitlements issue.
And he really thought it was going to work.
Yep.
And you could laugh at that or whatever, but the point is, the second you get enmeshed in a real war, not a fake, let's go bomb the villagers and declare success, though we don't even have a good track record. Why are the Houthis still there?
No,
there's a whole other question,
right,
which is how prepared is the U.S. military for a real conflict? And the answer is totally unprepared. Scary unprepared. I don't think people understand that. But anyway, the only reason I'm saying any of this is because I really, really care.
So Tucker Carlson goes into the heart of MAGA, Steve Bannon's war room, the beating red heart of the America First movement, and explains that he loves Donald Trump. He doesn't want him to make a presidency-ending, legacy-ending mistake of going to war with Iran. And Tucker Carlson, of course, wouldn't do this. This is quite a desperate move unless he believed that Donald Trump was this close to going to war with Iran. Now, we may well have just launched a war with Iran, but let's stay on the war between Tucker and Trump for right now, because that war, ladies and gentlemen, is heating up with Donald Trump savaging Tucker Carlson back. I really encourage you to go listen to the full hour-long interview between Steve Bannon and Tucker Carlson. It is enlightening and stunning and is good for the soul. Hearing those two, Bannon and Tucker, talk about what America First means. It's an excellent interview. President Trump decided to respond by saying, hey, I don't really care what Tucker Carlson says. He said this in the press before. To the Atlantic, Donald Trump said, I'm the one who decides what's America First and not Tucker Carlson, right? I'm the one who created America First. And then Donald Trump followed up with that today. He's at the G7 meeting right now by saying, nobody cares what Tucker Carlson's saying. Let him go get a TV show so that people will listen to him. Here we go.
I don't know what Tucker Carlson is saying. Let him go get a television network and say it so that people listen. Thank you. Thank you.
So this is obviously Donald Trump making a joke about Tucker Carlson getting fired from Fox News. Tucker Carlson spent a lot of his time in the Bannon interview today, talking about how it is Fox News that is pushing so much of this warmongering and the Murdochs themselves. So a very interesting commentary there. Donald Trump then took to Truth Social and called Tucker Carlson kooky. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I find it kind of interesting. Donald Trump going harder at Tucker Carlson, then he went at Elon Musk. As we've said on the channel, Donald Trump was incredibly reserved when it came to criticism of Elon Musk. But here he says, somebody please explain to kooky Tucker Carlson that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, in all caps. The president sent this just a few minutes ago. The responses have been mixed, to say the least. Laughing my ass off, you gotta love Trump, skull and emoji face. A lot of people saying this is the art of war. Some people saying that this is an F-up. It was war from the beginning. Trump should not allow himself to be photographed with Dahmer. He's discarding his friends carelessly, as he is his legacy. Got to get a TV station if you want to reach over 55s. Many people saying, and this is true, that Tucker Carlson has a much larger program technically now than he did on Fox, because on Fox he had, between 2 and 3 million people watching per night. But now Tucker Carlson's show is gigantic, right? Tucker Carlson's platform is gigantic. So Mark Levin and Laura Loomer have teamed up against Tucker Carlson. They've both also been calling for President Trump to go to war with Iran. Other people are siding, of course, with Tucker. A great deal of my timeline siding with Tucker. Totally unnecessary, says Julie Kelly on the attack against Tucker Carlson here. So the war is hot against Donald Trump and Tucker Carlson. It's also hot against Donald Trump and Iran. As we covered, the president sent a bunch of Strata flying fortresses over to Europe. They're redirecting aircraft carriers into the Mediterranean. And President Trump is saying everyone should immediately leave Tehran. Whew, okay. Iran should have signed the deal that I told them to sign. What a shame and a waste of human life. Simply stated, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. I said it over and over again. Everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran. Holy smokes. Something is about to happen, it seems. And if you would look at what it looks like inside of Tehran right now, this is the traffic leaving the city. There's a city of 10 million people, 88 million people live in Iran. And this is 10 million people in their capital now, fleeing absolute and total chaos and pandemonium. Nobody wants to be part of what's coming. And what is coming? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're not exactly sure. We know that this war has obviously already been ugly. We don't like it. We don't want it. We want peace. We find ourselves we find ourselves advocating for peace, same way that President Trump has, same way that Tucker has. I don't want there to be a war between the two of them, and I don't want there to be a war in the Mideast. It will drain the treasure of our nation, and it will drain, obviously, the human treasure of our nation above all else. I don't want American boots on the ground. I don't want to be part of this. It is fundamentally not our problem. But you can see some of the devastation there. More signs that bad things are to come, ladies and gentlemen. President Trump, after saying, get out of Tehran, and of course, everyone's getting out of Tehran now, President Trump is leaving the G7 early. He was at the G7 meeting in Canada. And now he's gone. He's going back to Washington, D.C. He's convened a National Security Council meeting.
Rocking downtown Tehran as President Trump has posted this ominous message to Truth Social that concludes with the statement that everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran. This, as U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says, additional resources are being moved into the CENTCOM area of responsibility. Our Pentagon team reports that those additional resources are coming in the form of refueling tankers, which are being moved to Europe so they can aid in the efforts here in the Middle East. Also, we've earlier confirmed that the USS Nimitz carrier strike group is being moved to the Middle East earlier than expected. The USS Nimitz is the oldest aircraft carrier in the U.S. fleet, and quite possibly this will be its last deployment or major deployment. Meantime, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel reports, or boasts, I should say, that his fighters enjoy air superiority in the skies over Tehran, meaning they can do pretty much whatever they want in the skies with minimal risk. This as the Israeli Air Force has released video of Iranian F-14s being destroyed on the ground by Israeli strikes. Iran got those F-14s from the U.S. Before the Islamic Revolution in 1979. Kaylee, back to you.
Yeah, it hurts the soul. Those are the same planes that they flew in Top Gun. President Trump will return to D.C. tonight, leaving the G7 immediately so that he can tend to many important matters, says Carolyn Levitt. He has called the National Security Council to be prepared in the Situation Room when Trump gets back to D.C. Also, the pizza tracker. This is the tracker of the pizza places around the Pentagon. It is off the charts right now. You know that when there is a sky high, busier than usual pizza demand at the Pentagon, it means they're in for a late night. So the president is leaving tonight, according to Carolyn Levitt. Rarely used nuclear sniffer plane takes off from Omaha, Nebraska, trying to find radioactive material in a potential attack on America, flying over several U.S. states. Never a good sign. Never a good sign. Trump appears to be simply saying that people should listen to the warnings that the IDF put out a couple hours ago. The IDF saying, get the hell out of Tehran. And people are getting the hell out of Tehran. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Again, President Trump on Truth Social banging the drums. Trump is basically spoon feeding it to us. He says he gave Iran a 60-day deadline to make a deal. They said no. On the 61st, you saw what happened. Trump has been standing in the way of Israel attacking Iran, giving them an opportunity to come to the diplomatic resolution without direct war. Iran refused Trump's offer and abandoned their nuclear program, so Trump stepped out of the way of Netanyahu. Now Trump claims Iran wants to make a deal. We'll see, ladies and gentlemen. Marjorie Taylor Greene said, pray for peace. War has bad consequences. We voted for America first. Pray for innocent people in Israel and in Iran. Some accounts saying the United States has joined the assault in Iran, bombing in Tehran. U.S. forces is currently underway. I don't think that's actually. I think there's no way that this is actually true. However, the United States is sending material support in the form of aircraft carriers, refueling tankers, and so on. So, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, no matter where you end up on this spectrum of this war or no war, and you know what my stance is, no war, nothing good will come of it. Pray for innocent people in Israel and Iran. Yes, I completely and totally, wholeheartedly agree. To conclude here, here's President Trump answering today where we are and where his thinking is as far as this conflict.
To Prime Minister Netanyahu, when might you speak to him?
I've spoken to everybody.
What will you say?
Israel is doing very well, as you probably noticed, and I gave Iran 60 days, and they said no, and the 61st you saw what happened. Day 61. So I'm in constant touch. And as I've been saying, I think a deal will be signed or something will happen, but a deal will be signed. And I think Iran is foolish not to sign one.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we've said many times before on this program, pray for peace. Not just within the MAGA and America First ranks, all around the globe, please. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe. See you.